All right, so you said that what I want, which is basically to leave the church amicably, as can be done, and I'll say that I'm not looking to make waves,
right?
But I've been in the church 33 years.
Yeah.
It's not delivering what I expected it to do and be for me. And I've decided I no longer want to be a Scientologist, and since I had put a lot of money on account, I want that money back. And I'll go my merry way. You said in order to do that, first we needed to have a meeting. So let's do the meeting and then get to point B directly.
Okay.
I just state my goals up front as to why I'm here at this meeting.
Yeah, understood. No problem. Yeah, I guess primarily I was just being that this is not something you've ever expressed before.
No, that's incorrect. It's been expressed for the last 2 years in great detail that
doubts, concerns, wavering, so on and so forth. Yes, but
so this is not
I'm
a surprise.
leaving and I want my money.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's definitely something you haven't said before, which is obviously different than I have doubts, I have concerns, I'm not sure, whatever, I'm upset, or I don't want to continue, or, these kinds of things. It's, different, right? And obviously there's, ramifications of doing, what you're saying, which is expulsion from the church, and so, you would no longer be associating with Scientologists and things like that. And I don't know.
Clarifying that, because you said that
you can talk to anybody you want to.
Yeah.
You can talk to anybody you want to.
To your point, though, you said that I can no longer have association with Scientologists.
Well, you wouldn't, for the fact that it's church policy when someone takes a repayment, they're expelled from the church. Yeah. Because we're under no obligation to do that. Like if you gave donations to any other church and went back and said, I went to confession and confession didn't work for me and I'm not happy, so I want all my donations back, they would laugh at you. But in our case, we deliver a service and we're quite confident on that service, and it's extremely rare that people actually, choose to get their money back. So
there's a set payment for each service. I put that money on account. Those services were not received. They were not donations to the church. So let's not quibble over the word donations.
No, they were donations, and that's covered under the agreement with the Internal Revenue Service.
I'm not going to argue that point with you.
People take tax deductions on them. I don't know if you took tax deductions on those donations when you made them.
Yeah, and you know what? The IRS is fully going to expect to get the money that they didn't get because I took the tax deductions. Completely aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah, still my money, so let's...
Larry, I'm not trying to make this contentious, and you and I have never sat down and had a conversation on this, okay? And the fact of the matter is, if you could just relax, because I'm not your enemy, and you're the one who started this out with a phone call from somebody who has made it currently his life's work to not only attack my religion and my church, but attack me personally.
Okay.
So if you wanted to actually sit down and have a conversation and an open dialogue about this to work out whatever it is, we could do that. What we're faced with right now is a scenario whereby you're asking for your money back and you want to leave the church. That's frankly a relatively simple request, and one that is fulfilled when it's asked. It happens, albeit rarely, but it does happen, and it's not difficult to deal with.
Well, then we're on the same page.
But what happens is that you're opening salvo. Do you want to close the door, Jess?
I think I did, but...
Maybe someone opened it up. You're sort of, for lack of a better term, opening salvo was to have Jason call me. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with what's happening there, but he called me, one, in your case, with regards to your matter, with kind of what essentially, based on the earlier calls that came before, what essentially was an extortionist type of communication. In other words, I'm doing all these things and I'm going to keep doing them, and I'm in the middle of them, and not only do I want my money, but I want my folders, and Larry wants his money. And it's sort of like, okay, well, why wouldn't Larry call me? And I'm curious why Larry didn't call me. He says, well, I'm sorry you're curious. And it's just like right off the bat. And I'm like, Larry's not my enemy. And you have to understand, you know, when you have somebody like that as your ambassador, and he specifically chooses to call me to communicate it, it reeks of a different agenda. I would go so far as to wonder if in fact the agenda is that once you receive your money, that you have some other intention, or some intention to take your grievances public, or minimally give free rein to Jason and whoever he's associated with to do the same. And that's, you know, obviously of concern. I think that you would agree, I hope that you would agree, that Scientologists are people of goodwill, that their intention is to help others. I realize that you're communicating that you haven't been helped, and that's fine. But that, you know, with and in Scientology and with Scientologists, and certainly people you know, whether it's, you know, Tate Rupert or Jim Meskimen or Kelly Daniels, or I'm thinking of different people who are in orientation with you, but or people certainly that I know that you know, and have been friends with, that you would consider them your friends, that you would consider you don't have anything against them personally, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
And that you certainly wouldn't want to do anything that would be distressful or harmful, or cause them harm or upset or distress, or so on and so forth. And I don't get that that's where you're coming from.
No, and I think it'd be silly for either of us, any of us here, to wrongly assume that leaving the church also means leaving my a third dynamic that I've had and held dear for 33 years. And the people in it for 33 years have become very dear and close friends of mine, and that this action, of course, does not come without a great amount of self exploration and insight and introspection and all of that, and having to weigh a whole lot of things. And one of them is my dear friends, and 98% of the members of Scientology. It's the 2% that I don't like, and that makes it, to use a percentage that is very near and dear to all Scientologists, that makes it something that means I have to walk away from it. So, yeah, I'm just concurring with what you're saying here. These are dear friends of mine, and they have nothing to do with my leaving. In fact, they were probably the hardest factor for me to leave and make this decision. But that's part of the trap, and I can't be trapped by those kinds of considerations and personages, and even though they're good friends, they're part of an overall trap. So I seek to escape the trap and lose my friends. But I have lots of friends.
And since then, have you spent time with Jason or Mark Headley or Barry Van Sickle or any of these people?
That's not any part of the topic of this discussion.
Well, I think it is.
No, it's not. I'm not here to be interrogated, introverted, intimidated, or even...
Larry.
Yeah,
I'm
listen,
so introverted, I'm so intimidating. I mean, it's just me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Tommy, who are you? It's just you. I mean, and I'm not, who are you? Not meaning in a way to degrade your position. In fact, exactly the opposite. You're on the front lines of this, and you as much as opened this conversation. He's an enemy of the church, so now you're going to pump me about my involvement with Jason. That ain't going to happen. That's not why I'm here. Let's talk about.
I think the whole thing smacks of some other agenda, and I think it's
Think what you like.
disingenuous.
Think what you like.
And I don't believe you, to be honest with you.
Good.
I don't believe you.
Thank you.